In OET listening part A, you have 30 seconds to prepare before you listen. What can you do in that time? Let's find out in today's lesson. Hello and welcome to OET with Alex. In today's lesson, we're looking at part A of the listening paper. So we're going to start by talking about what it consists of. We're going to talk about what it's actually testing, and then we're going to look at a technique of what we can do in the 30 seconds we have reading time before we actually listening to prepare yourself as well as you can to get the best score that you are possibly able to get in this listening part A of the test. So make sure you watch right the way until the end to make sure that you get all of the tips and you perform as well as you can when it comes to exam day. Before we start looking at that, remember that I run online OET preparation courses in partnership with Atlantic Language. They're 2-week courses. They're designed to lead you straight up to exam day to make sure you get the best possible score that you can. All of the information is in the description of this video, so please check it out. So what does listening part A consist of? You have to listen to 2 extracts of healthcare professional and patient consultations. When you're listening to the consultations, you have to complete the healthcare professional's notes. So that's what you have to do. You listen to the consultations and you complete the notes. And what does listening part A actually test? Well, this part tests listening for specific information. So this means that you have to listen to the exact part of the extract of the consultation to make sure that you find the exact answer. So it's one part, it's not about general understanding of it or anything like that. It's one specific part that they want you to understand. So what can you do to prepare? You have 30 seconds. First thing, you have to read through as quickly as you can the notes so you get an idea of what the situation is, who the people are involved, things like that. Get a general idea of it. Okay, then you have to start looking at the notes and you have to look at the gaps in the notes about what you need to answer this specific word or phrase that you need to complete it with, okay? You're going to look at the text surrounding these parts, and the text surrounding these parts, the notes, the healthcare professional's notes will be made up of paraphrases from the actual listening. So paraphrases, remember, means a different way of saying something. So these paraphrases are really important because if you take a sentence and you identify the key words in that sentence as part of the notes with the gap that you have to complete, identifying the key words will help you in 2 ways. First of all, it will help you realize where you are in the recording and where the right answer might be. And also, these key words are probably the things which are going to be paraphrased in the recording. Okay, so that's the first thing that you can do. The second thing that you can do is you can start to think about what word or what type of word at least is going to be in the gap. So all you're doing, everything here is preparing yourself mentally to listen for that key, that correct answer, and to take it and put it in and get the point that you deserve. So what we can do is we can look at the space and we can say, does that look like it's going to be an adjective, a noun, a phrase? Can we predict even what the answer might be? I'm not saying that's going to be the correct answer, but all of this is getting your mind and your ears ready to listen for the correct answer. So I'm going to put up on the screen an example of a listening part A, and we're going to go through it and do this. So we're going to select what are probably going to be keywords. We're going to talk a little bit about the spaces and talk about what type of word or what the exact answer might be. Then, using the sample paper that I put up, you can go and practice this technique because it's taken from OET's site and you can find the links to it in the description below. Okay, so here we have one extract from a sample listening test. This is sample test 2 from OET's website. You can find the link to this in the description if you'd like to open it. You could pause this video just now and go and get it so that we can look at it together, or you can look at it in the screen and then do it later on, because you know you can use the preparation that we're talking about just now to go on and do this actual paper. So a couple of things we're going to do with each one. Obviously, to start with, you would read through all this as quickly as you can to get an idea. The introduction obviously tells us a lot of information, like as a gastroenterologist, etc., the patient's name and things like that. But what we're really going to focus on is the part of the notes that has the things we have to complete. So remembering that we have to complete it with a word or a short phrase that you hear. So it has to be from the recording. Okay, so for each one, we're going to look at what the key words are. So, you know, the key words, like I said before, are going to help us establish what the message is in this question or this part of the notes, and it's going to help us locate it, and it's going to help us listen for paraphrases. So we're thinking about all of those things, and then we're going to talk about what type of word or what potential word it could be in each one. So let's get started. Okay, so in the first one, you know, patient Andrew Taylor, background has had something over long periods. So there's really not a lot of information here. So something that is jumping out at me is long period. Okay, that's the only real content that we have there in number one. That is definitely key to the meaning here. Okay, so we're going to listen to this. Remember, this is a paraphrase. So we have to start thinking about, you know, long period. What could that be paraphrased as in the recording itself? You know, 5 years, many years, something like that. Start thinking about these things, okay? And if we look at the answer itself, has had something over a long period. So we know it's a noun, and we know it's something probably that he's suffering from. So that's going to be a good way to get started thinking about what the answer could be there. Let's look at number 2. Reports a frequent something sensation in the last year. So let's talk about the key word. So obviously sensation is quite important. I think frequent, things that are related to time, like we have in the first one, long period, frequent. Let's think about how we could say frequent in different ways, or you know what frequent actually means, that it could be the main problem of something, or something like that, you know. So frequent, sensation, you know, these are really the things that we're focusing on here. So what kind of sensation could he have? A tingling sensation? I don't know. Remember, we're talking about a patient who's gone to a gastroenterologist, so we need to use that information. So what kind of sensation could he have? Something related to the way his stomach feels, you know, that we can start to think about what the answer might be there. Okay, and number 3, most recently, again, we've got a time reference here. That's going to help us a lot when we come to listen. Something has become a problem. What has become a problem? This is going to be another symptom, another issue that he's suffering from. Okay, word to describe symptoms. So that's what we're listening for here. And because it's a word to describe, we know this is going to be an adjective. So what could it be? Annoying, debilitating. It's probably not going to be debilitating, but it's going to be some kind of adjective in here that we have to listen for to describe the symptoms. Okay, and number 5, frequent. So again, we're listening for something that happens a lot. Good. Paraphrase, something he suffers from a lot. Frequent, something. So it's going to be some kind of noun. Important information here, patient didn't initially link, so there was no link between this and the bowel condition. So already we know it's not something related to the bowel condition, so it's maybe something related to another part of his body, something like that. You know, all of this is giving us good information to start thinking about what the answer could be here and prepare us to listen for the correct answer. Okay, moving on to number 6. this is a good one. Works as an, so this is an interesting one for lots of reasons. Actually, so works as, we're listening for his job. We know that, okay? Paraphrase, it's not going to have exactly that, but it might talk about his job, his occupation, things like that, those paraphrases. And this is really interesting here. And so we know the job starts with a vowel, A, E, I, O, U. So what job starts with A, E, I, O, U? An engineer. Maybe he works as an engineer. That could be a good answer, but we're already listening. We're preparing ourselves to listen, which is really the key thing that we can do here. Obviously, this is taking a lot longer than 30 seconds like you have, but these are examples. We're talking through it a lot, and you can train yourself to get really quick at this. The key thing is that you practice this as much as you can. Okay, so next one, situation at work means patient is what? Is probably, we're going to look for an adjective here. Situation at work, and we've got is, so it's probably going to be some kind of adjective. Might not be, but it could well be here. We're listening to how this affects his work is the key thing here. Okay, complains of lack of, that's that's obviously going to be paraphrased, I would say, in the recording. A lack of what? Think about something you're going to complain about. A lack of energy could be quite a good answer there. You'll need to listen to see if that is the correct answer. Okay, and next thing, we can use these headings to help us keep track of where we are in the recording. So he's talking about diet, and a key thing here would be claims to be consuming sufficient what? So, we can already start thinking about the words, but this is definitely key here, consuming sufficient. This is going to be paraphrased, I guarantee it. So how could we paraphrase that? How is it going to be in the recording? Start to think about it. Eating enough would be a simple paraphrase. Claims to be consuming sufficient what? Something in his diet that may be enough protein, enough fiber, sufficient protein, sufficient fiber, something like that. These are going to be possible answers that we can listen out for. Okay, and number 10, has experimented with excluding. So excluding something, taking things out from diet. So what could that be here? Things that you might remove from your diet, high fat products, something like that. Excluding is going to be a key thing here. Excluding from diet, obviously. So you're listening for what has he tried to take out, remove from his diet. All those things are paraphrases of what the answer might be. Okay, and number 11, has undergone something, no indications of anything problematic. Okay, so undergone is an interesting word, isn't it? Because you undergo certain things. So in a medical environment, then you undergo tests. So this is a strong collocation, undergo tests. So that could be related to the answer there. So I definitely, with selecting these keywords and key information, notice I'm not underlining a lot of things, because if you underline too much, it kind of takes the point away from the exercise of doing this. So let's try to be clear and be precise in what we pick as the keywords. Okay, and going on to the last part, medication. We've not got much here. He's trying. So how could we say that in a different way? He's trying something. He's giving something a go. He's trialing something. Maybe these are all paraphrases that could be that. And it's talking about medication. So we know the answer here is some type of medication, but you'll have to listen to see what it is. So you see here, we can actually, by identifying these keywords, we can really do a lot. We can, start to think what the paraphrases might be. It gives us ideas of what could be in the gaps. It's going to help us when we listen, keep track of where we are, as are the headings. That will help us as well, know where we are in the recording. So what I suggest you do now is download this paper. There's a second extract here in part A as well, which you can follow the same system with. Try it, and let me know in the comments how you get on, because I'm really curious. And if this is, you can also let me know if this is any different to how you would normally attempt listening part A. Listening part A, remember, it's about specific information, and that's why choosing these things which are going to be paraphrased, which will lead up to the actual answer, are really essential, you know. So we're really focusing in on the correct part of the script. Okay, and in a future lesson, I'm planning to in a few days, this week at some point for sure, I'm going to compare these things which have been picked as keywords with the type script, so we can see how these things all come together. But first of all, practice the system, give it a go, and see how you get on. Okay, so I hope you found this advice useful. Please go ahead and do the listening after doing this preparation. Don't worry if it takes you more than 30 seconds to start with. You can get faster at this. So do the paper, let me know in the comments how you get on and if it's better than you normally do, because that's the key thing here. We're trying to improve your score with this preparation. Thanks for watching today. Remember, I have another channel as well, Learn English with Alex, which has general English lessons on, grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, all of that thing, all those types of things. So check out the link in the description as well. Thanks for watching and best of luck in your OET preparation. See you soon.